Yeah, I am. Right, that's stream started about 40 seconds ago, something like that. I'm gonna go and see if I can hear you, make sure that PlayStation's working normally. Hello, Saeed.
Hello, Saeed.
No, I don't want the just want to go back about 10 seconds on my own stream. Alright, how's everyone doing tonight then? Hey, okay, wait, we started gold at 8 o'clock on the dot? I'm not used to this. Will it be another BR4L? Well, we're about to find out. I'm very surprised we're starting on 8 o'clock, pretty much on the dot. It's 8:01. It's earlier than usual. You guys can all hear me properly and everything like that, right? Just before we go in. We're about to go into qualify. It looked like we're just waiting on I can't speak English. Waiting on Rigo. Which is not usually the case, but be going any second now, actually.
By tomorrow, do you mean a Friday or?
Is that Boomer on there? Oh, Boomer's got one of the other ones. Right, here we go. Let's have a look at this. I'm going to do that. Telemetry, not needing that. We do need that though. And then I am going to go on to Discord in a minute, set something else up, and then hopefully by the time I've got that sorted out, people will be out on track. It looks like people are coming out on track now. The Williams is going to be the first one. Let's see what everyone's going to be able to do here then. First laps of quali, and 2 Williams are the first 2 out. Acro and Audacity. Got a couple others out as well. Alu in the Ferrari just behind these two. Got 2 Aston Martins, look like an Aston Martin and a Mercedes are fighting there for no particular reason. Hello, Robin. Who do I think will win? Honestly, after last week, I don't think I could put any other bet on than Arco winning here. I'll be bored left the session. Which will happen there. But I think after last week, I can't put any other bet. What happened to Mitchell? Wait, has everyone just left? What the hell just happened? Let me come off the dashboard a minute. Oh, we've got a new lobby because Ren's added his friend. Oh! No, it's, I don't know, I thought Jet 2 was one of the things that you had just brought in for a reserve, Ryan. 100% slipped by me. Okay, I guess we're going again then. I'll wait for... Okay, I guess I'm gonna wait for an invite by Mitchell. No, he hasn't done sign up. Fair enough. Fair enough. It's just well and truly slipped by me. I saw Robin message something in the chat there. It slipped away through Ryan asking what a gente is. Not sure if you want to ask that one again. There's still people in this lobby for no particular reason. Or was I going to quit out? Hopefully Mitchell speeds this up. Well then, on the list of things I didn't actually expect to see today, somebody inviting their friend to the lobby wasn't on it. But at this point, we almost have enough things to happen where we could just create a bingo for a chat every week and see if we could see who could cross off the most things. This is almost hilarious at this point. As for what actually happened there, Jack, it looks like Renz has invited his friend, and well, he hasn't signed up, so he can't actually... Yeah, we're restarting, Arca. We're restarting because somebody was in the lobby that wasn't meant to be in the lobby by the looks of things. Mitchell's starting to do invites now, but in the other lobby, I think it was Gente that wasn't actually meant to be in the lobby. I'm not entirely sure. That's the name that Ryan picked out, so I assume that would be the case. Gente bait or something like that? Yeah. Yeah, there you go, Ryan confirming that that's the one that hasn't actually meant to be here. Should still have like 18 to go though. 18 people driving today. Yeah, there you go, Arca. Yeah. As for who's going to be on the podium today, then let's do a proper prediction. See if people see what people in chat think as well. I personally think it might be Arca, Mitchell, Joe. I think that's going to be the podium. I know you didn't invite him, Arca. I know you didn't. I think it was Renz that did. Mitchell, yeah, Mitchell has said all week that he isn't the biggest fan of Austria, but I still think he's there. It's just what he seems to be doing recently. Always seems to be there and thereabouts. Robin thinks Joe, Samuel, and Mitchell. Yes, Samuel will be a good shout. 100%. I've got 4 or 5, I think, that'll be in and around a podium spot, if not fighting for a win. I say that, now 4 of the 5 of them or something like that's going to crash out at turn 1. No, it's not meant to. Yeah, I know you would have won in Spain Arca if you hadn't crossed the right line. I saw that, and that's rookie errors. Should not be happening. We've got a couple of new guys in here today as well. It was so close, millimeters. You were on the opposite side of the track. Yeah, there's no real way you were getting away with the white line cut after last week. It's just one of those things you learn from. You move on. You're able to hopefully recover the mistake now. You make the mistake once, you should be able to learn from that, not make it again. I don't make the same mistake 10 times. I just find the worst way to make different mistakes. How many? We're going with 17 by the looks of it, I guess, then. Are we? I don't actually know how many we're meant to have. I don't know how many we're meant to... Oh, we've got an 18th. Who's the 18th? I'm not even sure who joined. I can't tell who was actually... I'm not actually sure who was the actual one who joined. But now we have 18, we should be able to go again. We're meant to have 18 in the first place. We now have 18 again. And we should be going into qualifying any minute now. I know we're starting... This is still a thing. Yep. This is still a thing, Rossi. This is still a thing. And I'm still the one doing it. No. Spain was a mad one. Spain was all over the place for a good chunk of people by every... Rossi, you tempted to resell your racing rig. Fair enough. Right, we're headed into qualifying now, and I should probably I should probably go into the telemetry thing as well now, considering we've been here for, well, we're already 15 minutes late, so it's roughly how Tier 2 started last week, actually, to be fair, just not with multiple people that shouldn't be there invited. Whilst we wait for people to leave the lobby, and not leave the lobby, leave the pit lane, I'm going to load this up, and then we're going to see see some outlaps. There's already someone out there, so Arca really loves being the first one out. Every race I've seen him do so far, he's been the first one out. Always eager to set a lap time by the looks of it. Other people we've got out at the moment. Discord hates Rossi's phone for some reason. That's fair. It was hating everyone. It was hating my phone earlier, I know that much. We've got Yala the second... Actually, no, there's a Aston Martin that's jumped out quite a way. Is that Renz or is that... That's Renz, the second one out. So we'll hop to Renz's lap after we see Arca's here. Doing a little bit of warm-up for his tyres. And off we go. The first lap of this qualifying session is now underway. Arca into turn 1. Like there's a Red Bull coming out the pit lane as well. Might cause a little bit of a problem. Now he gets out of the way. As he should. Nice Ishmael, he's the only Red Bull on the grid. Should probably have paid attention to that one beforehand. 16-2 I think I saw there for Arca in the first sector. currently setting the benchmark. You got yellow flags in Sector 3. I just think that's people backing off on the people in front of them. We're going to get traffic galore through these laps. Mainly people getting caught on what is such a short track. 45.3 through the second sector. Let's see what he does at the end of the race. Something tells me we might be in the low 4s, maybe the high 3s for a pole tonight. Hello. Over the line we go. And it's a 1:05.3, the first lap on the board. Set by Arca. Let's see what Renz is doing here. Down into turn 9 and then through turn 10 he goes. Keeps it. No, never mind. He backs into the pit. And there is a pit lane, lad. Not meant to have. Unless he cut that literally the final second. The few laps starting to come in now. So 1:06 flat for Yarlow. 1:05.44 for Audacity. Isn't that far behind. Italiano does a 0.56, which isn't going to be too great for him. Here comes Samuel to the line. 1:05.30, identical lap to Arca. And Donny sets a 1:05 flat, which is immediately beat by Joe to the 1:04.8, and the two AlphaTauris taking it to everyone this time. So Joe currently on pole by 0.2 of a second to his own teammate, who has a 0.3 of a second gap to anybody else on the grid. Donny might have a good position today for once. Ishmael does a 1:05.079, puts himself currently third on the grid, just behind Donny. See people backing up as we go by. Staber's coming into the pits. Heisenberg's on a lap now, so you know what, we're going to watch Heisenberg. Arca's not done much practice. Well, you still have the same shot as everyone else. Alu did a 1:18.4, which obviously means that he's span or backed off his lap. Same with BR4. Swen did a 1:05.668, which puts him 8th on the grid so far. Let's have a look. We're still getting a few people to do laps at the moment. What's Mitchell doing? Mitchell's invalidated lap. What about Heisenberg? He's going through. Is this an in lap? It's an in lap. It's not, but it's going to be it's a flying lap then. He's coming to the line now. Kept it valid. Was a 1:05.2. Puts him 4th. It's not particularly bad at the moment. Let's see Bambino's lap then. Bambino's going to be the only one on a flying lap at the moment. I think Renz is coming out to do one as well. But yeah, studying in the middle of the night Bloodwave is absolutely crazy. I would not have. To be fair, I say it's crazy, but that's probably when I did most of my assignments for uni, so I really can't say anything. I'm doing great. My sleep schedule's almost as bad as everyone else's. I'm actually willing to put. I'm willing to bet mine is probably worse, like top 3 worse in the server at the moment. Let's see what Bambino's doing through the lap then. He comes into sector 3 now, down to turn 9 and then through turn 10. He has to go. Two corners left. Still valid through turn 9 and then down through turn 10. Is still valid, and the time is going to be a 1:04.959. Puts him second so far. What about Renz? Renz up he goes through turn 9. Is he going to keep it valid? He didn't last time. He didn't this time either. Let's have a look. There's seemingly a lap time being set here for Arca. So we're going to go on watch him, considering Renz invalidated his lap. Let's see what the lad that was very dominant in Spain until a rookie mistake ends up doing here. He is just over a tenth and a half quicker than his prior lap, would shift him up a single position. Maybe through the final couple of corners he can improve on that. Down to the line he goes, a 105, 104. And it's not enough to move him any higher than Ishmael. Well, he beat Heidelberg, but not Ishmael at the moment. So it sits him currently in 5th. Ishmael doing a lap now to see if he can improve. The lap's also being set by the entire bottom 5 at the moment. Samuel setting a purple sector 3 by the looks of it there. He is currently 3/10 up, so it is possible that he's able to set a fastest lap here. Down through turn 10 he goes. It's provisional pole for Samuel at the moment. Staber does a 104.9. And that's not particularly bad for him either. Arca's going to do an in-lap. What's Mitchell doing? Bear in mind that he's still going to fight for the championship. Mitchell's still at the top of that. Samuel at the moment. I know he said I could call him Sam, but I'm going to stick to Samuel. It's easier. It comes off easier off the tongue. Let's see what Mitchell can do here. A 105.1 is not even good enough for the top 7. It puts him 8th. Still people in the pits. Ishmael backed off his lap. Donny looked like Donny's backwards, so Donny span it. Staber's going in. I think Samuel's going in. BR4 104.707 is enough at this current time to be on provisional pole. There's still people getting in each other's way quite effectively there at the end of the lap. Thought like the Ferrari's just about to start a lap, luckily, even though he did get blocked by the looks of it by a Haas and a McLaren. In comes Donny as well. Looked like the other McLaren's coming in. Let's see what Bisconnet's going to do here. Down into turn 9. And into the pits he comes. He was doing an in-lap. Okay, fair enough. What about Audacity doing a lap, I guess? I think he might have backed off his quite early on. We'll continue to look on his lap at the moment. Mitchell Tractor. Bit mean. BR4, he's in a battle at the moment. He won in Silverstone, obviously. Obviously handed himself a foot in the title race with that win. He's looking to add to it today. Still got people like Joe to have their second shot of this. We're going to continue to watch Audacity in a moment. I think we've got a couple other people that might be heading toward the line at the moment. Akrad's about the closest one to the line, actually, as he's doing his outlap. And it looked like Audacity did a pretty good middle sector there. Is he going to be able to keep it valid? Through turn 9 into turn 10? Just about. I'm not sure that should be staying valid, but it's a 105.3. It's only enough for 12th. And all of this, he's only... Yeah, the telemetry's glitched as all hell. It's got Ren's 9th and he hasn't set a lap, so I'm not using it at the moment. I don't think there's anyone beating that. I don't think there's anyone beating that. I'll lose 3 tenths up at the moment, but I don't think there's anybody beating that. A 104.35 there for Joe, and it's a 104.9 there for Alu, sits him up into 6th. That is crazy at the moment. That is one hell of a lap there by Joe. Heidelberg lap slow. Akrad's is backed up. Let's have a look. Is Ren's on a good lap? He isn't. Neither. Audacity's coming into the pits. Rigo is about 200th down on his time. The slowest time of the entire session is a 105.9 at the moment. Everyone set a lap. A rather representative lap. See what Samuel's doing. Joe's obviously going into the pits now. Samuel somehow kept that valid, but I think he's just lost a chunk of time by sliding through the edge of that corner. And it's a 104.749, not even enough. Oh, Staben to the wall! He was quicker, but he's in a wall. Bambino not quicker on his lap. What about Mitchell? Also not currently quicker on his lap. A 105.1. Only good enough for 11th. Everyone is very closely knit. Apart from Joe. Literally just remove Joe at this point and everyone's closely knit. He's got a 3.5 tenth gap after I have failed English. And Mitchell did a 104.955, which is enough to put him ahead of Bambino up into 5th. That shows you how closely knit everyone up was. It's gone for Mitchell's gone from 11th to 5th, and not really the greatest amount of improvement on the lap. Bambino's getting out the way for what has to be Ishmael. What about Rigo and Jaguar? It looks like they're on flying laps as well at the moment. I'm resetting my telemetry for a moment because that is as glitched as it can go. And Rigo's coming into the pits. Jaguar's obviously doing the same. Mitchell and Bambino both coming into the pits as well. So the only one left on the entire track is Ishmael. So he gets the spotlight at the moment as he's going to come through into down past turn 2 into turn 3. He is currently quicker through the first sector. Quick enough. He's done the identical lap to Heisenberg at the moment. Both done a 105.079. It would be enough to move Ishmael up into 8th, I think. But he runs through turn 4 now. And then turn 5 into the end of the second sector. He is a 10th up. So it could be good news happening here for Ishmael. It would move him still to only 8th as he comes through turn 9 now, keeps it valid, down into turn 10, still valid, up to the line he goes. 104.93 and up to 5th he goes. Not that bad there by Ishmael, up to 5th. He's got Joe, BR4, Samuel and Staber in front of him, even with Staber's lack of front wing. And Ishmael got beat by Staber by 0.001. Let's see what Bisconnet's doing here. Little bit down on his teammate at the moment, but looking to make up for that in this lap. Going down is a 10th up, and it isn't quite enough to actually help him out with his positioning. Yeah, Joe's quick. I think that should have been invalid. That's that's invalid though. What's happened here? Yeah, no, he's kept his car going. I thought he had spam for a moment there, the way that came out. Of the final corner. Where's the closest guy to the start line? Alright, so we're going with Acra. He had a great time in Spain. Is he going to be able to topple Joe here? Here we go, down into turn 1. Up into turn 1, shall I say, it's up a hill. And then down through turn 2, and then up into turn 3. We get to see where he is in terms of sector time here. He is a little bit quicker than his prior lap, but it's not enough to move him anywhere on the board. We'll keep him 11th. One of the Alfa Romeos getting out of the way. And same with one of the Aston Martins as well. I think that might be Bisconnect. It is. Actually getting a lot of the curve on the outside of turn 4. And into turn 5 he goes. Into the end of the second sector. Well, about what type of sector is he doing? It's just about quicker. It's really not going to move him anywhere at the moment. Maybe up 1 position at the absolute most. As he's going to come through turn 9. And is wide by a country mile. And then through turn 10. Down to the line. 1.499 is enough to move it to 9th. But it's not really going to trouble anyone else. What's happening here with the other people? Let's have a look at BR4. By the fact that everyone's coming out onto the track is always doing outlaps at the moment, that means we're within a minute left of this session. I just saw it pop up. Under the abundance of yellow flags, we're 45 seconds left of the session. Which means it realistically last chance saloon for everybody here. Gonna see, is that Mercedes? He's gonna go one more lap. That Donny behind him? It is. People going for one last shot, one last roll of the dice. Let's see what BR4 doing. He is currently a tenth, nearly 2 tenths up. Would put him to in around a 0.5. He needs another 2 tenths. Otherwise, he isn't going to be on pole. Down to the line he comes. Somebody just come over the line. That Sven is not improved. BR4 to the line is a 4.6. It's not enough. Joe Span. And here we go. So Joe's line of qualifying is ended. Are we going to see something massive happen here? Samuel down to 10th. Alu's done his lap. Staber's not doing anything either, I don't think. We are losing the amount of people who can beat him at this point. The Ferrari's just crashed into a wall. That's Mitchell's time gone. Someone else just spinning his 360 around the final corner. Rigo's retired. Alu's invalidated. Joe's finished his one off. Staber's not doing anything. Ishmael is going quicker at the moment, but he's not quick enough. Down the line, 1.485, enough to top him in, put him into the top 6. Is Donny doing anything? Nope, Donny's not doing anything. Is Yellow doing anything? No, it's invalid, which that only means one thing. And that means there's Joe on pole by 0.3 of a second. He did this at Baku. He was then in control of the race at Baku. And then had one of the worst mistakes I've seen him have at Baku. Maybe the same is in store today. Maybe he corrects his mistake from race number 1. But he's got himself into the best place possible to do so. BR4 fills the front row, 104.6. Samuel and Alu fill out the second row. Alu not usually up there an awful lot, but is today. Bambino and Ishmael sits on your third row in 5th and 6th respectively. Further down the grid, you've got Renz and Staber filling out the 4th row. Mitchell in 9th, Archer in 10th. Not as quick as I would have expected from Archer, given what he did to everyone last week. Donny in 11th. Heidelberg in 12th. Donny set what was a promising first lap and never really did anything else after that. Miskinek 13th. Audacity 14th. Rigo 15th. Jaguar 16th. Swen and Yarlo, the back markers in qualifying. The entire grid split by 1.4 seconds. The first 14 guys split within the second mark. I think my telemetry actually sorted itself out now. We don't have any chance. Oh, never mind. We do have chance of rain. We're actually going to have a dry to wet race here. 86% expected, 86% expected, 88% expected in a storm after 60 minutes. So we're going to have rain. We are going to have rain here, so we might get a shaken up grid midway into this race. As we head into the actual race itself, medium hard or hard medium, whichever way you choose. Starting on the cold tyres though, hard's probably not a smart choice unless you're going to the rain. Depending on Well, rain in half an hour. I don't know if you can get mediums to that point, but if you could, I'd certainly be on them. It looked like 5 red lights. It's lights out. Away we go. We don't have any formation laps, so that's a start. And it looks like Joe has got an awful start. I've got a camera angle, and BR4 is majorly into the lead going into turn 1, and Joe has been... Oh, there's a spin in AlphaTauri. Donny's hit the wall. Swen's out. 5 seconds for Donny. Mitchell, we've got 2 wide into turn 1. We're not going to be able to see any overtake because I'm almost certain that's a safety car. It's a virtual safety car, sorry. So Swen's out. We didn't even get round turn 1. Mitchell, Donny, both into a wall. Let's see if there's any broken wings here, actually. Let's see. Wing. So Arkra's got damage. Rigo's got damage. Heisenberg's got damage. Donny's got damage and Swen's out. Well then, that is one way to start the race with utter chaos. And honestly, at this point, that's a custom in turn 1. It's not. I think we've only had 1, maybe 2 safety cars come out the entirety of tier 1 at the moment. Well, of course, we're only 3 and 1 lap of the way through. But it's mostly being virtual safety cars. You see 4 or 5 people come into the pits here. Looks like Bisconnect's coming as well. He's not one of the ones that I said had damage, so could be interesting to see what he's doing here. Actually, we're going to go and see what he's doing. Arkra's got front wing placed. Actually, Bisconnect is going to replace his front wing, so clearly he got damage later on in the lap. I'm going to have a look at things like damage and all that on my telemetry right now. Well, this virtual safety car has just gone in, and we go again. And half of everyone's already lost like 20 seconds. There are 2 packs essentially forming here. The rain, of course, still going to be a factor later on. Just a case of if people can go to the end on those tires. Let's have a look on who's on what tire actually. So it looks like an even mix of people who started on the hards, people who started on the mediums. Yellow for P18 to P10, yeah. You're taking advantage of everyone else having a bit of a breakdown into turn 1. And of course, if you're the right place at the right time, you're always going to love that. So, into turn 3 they go, and it looks like Joe is just stuck around 4.5-5 tenths away from BR4, who has the lead of the race under command at the moment. And there's still not an awful lot happening down the grid. People are in range of an overtake, but nothing awfully happening. Here comes Bisconnect on Jaguar down into turn 3. And he gets it done well before turn 3. And up into 12th he goes. Jaguar's also got a penalty. I believe that was speeding in the pit lane. And DRS should be enabled at the end of this lap. You see BR4 come over the line now, so it should be enabled now. It was enabled on the last lap, maybe. Yeah, it was enabled on the last lap, so we should start seeing people being able to make actual attempts at overtake, unless we're going to sit in a giant DRS train, which seemingly seems to be happening between everyone from 3rd place backwards. It's still got Joe and BR4. DRS is going to play a factor here, but it's not going to play a big one. As you can see, BR4 is actually holding Joe back, even with the DRS at the moment. Heidelberg setting the fastest lap of the race up to this point. Jaguar and Bisconnect are going at it, so we're actually going to go back to this fight. Is he going to go down the inside? No, he's going to settle with the fact that he lost the position into turn 3. Maybe Arca is going at him as well. Up the grid. Let's have a look. This train is still going on. We're actually going to go back to this because they're going to fight with the DRS again. And it looked like the Aston Martin going to go on through. Maybe a switchback opportunity for the McLaren. Is he going to be able to hold it? He isn't. Into turn 5, the Aston Martin's ahead. Almost a little bit of contact there from the McLaren there on the Aston Martin. Maybe a little bit of damage to the front wing. Do I think it's better to sit in P2 here? Yeah, maybe until the rain, and then you can go after it when the rain settles in. But I think you can have it either way here. Oh, Ren's trying to come back onto the track into the side of Samuel. And those two are going to go at it through turn 5. Round the long way, Samuel's trying to go. He's going to pull alongside. He's going to have the long way around the next corner as well. He still kept his car there. Ren's is going to have to pay attention to the fact he is there. A little bit collision again between the two of them. Samuel, though, with the inside line, is going to have that position on Ren's. Up into 7th he goes. And then down, well, through the finish straight. DRS are going to be a thing. Yellow flag in sector 2 is the Alfa Romeo. And that's Heidelberg in a wall. There's Alfa Mitchell going on through. And it looks like Donny's gone on through as well. Still seeing people settle into a DRS train here behind, it looks like behind Staber now actually. As Alu's managed to break that second gap in his fight with Ishmael, who's nowhere near BR4 and Joe at the moment. 1.6 seconds. Still quite the distance for them to come to try and cut down. Here comes Audacity, who's closed in on Ren's pretty nicely over the last lap. And let's see if he's going to be able to try something here. No, he's probably widely backed off as he goes through turn 6 into the final sector. And there's still people within DRS range, but most of which are in DRS trains, able to just hold back at the moment. So no one on the grid got any sort of damage. I think Heidelberg may have just... Actually, no, Heidelberg's still going. He obviously didn't get that much damage through his spin into the wall. Joe was closing in with DRS there. He got within a quarter of a second, not really too much closer though, as he gets DRS again, but this straight doesn't usually help you out with the DRS. Down the grid, you still have Bambino closing in. Alu's lost the second gap to Ishmael now, so maybe Ishmael's going to be able to drive his own race away from everyone else in third. If he can break a little bit more of a gap from Alu, then that'll be certain. It's 1.1 second at the moment. Down the grid, you still got Bambino within 0.3 of a second. They're roughly the same. Yeah, Bloodblade says stay in the DRS and then wait until the rain. Yeah, that's probably the smartest choice you could do. Maybe just before the rain comes, you floor it, try and get past, do something of that nature. But until that point, I'd be very reserved being in second place. I wouldn't be too concerned. Joe is trying to close that gap in. But he's doing it in a way almost into the back of BR4. As soon as I say that, he almost royally fucks that up. He is about 0.2 of a second here. If I can get a good camera angle on Joe trying to hang on to the back of BR4. Stella and Alu, they're going to go as too wide through turn 4. And it looks like Staber's going to go on past. He is, and all this fighting is allowing for Ishmael to just grow a huge gap in front of them. He is also cutting the gap down to the guy to Joe in second. It's now 1.5 seconds, as Joe and BR4 are still going at it. We are still a decent shot away from rain, I think. Maybe in the next 5-10 minutes, you might start seeing something happening. Joe is not waiting. We all said we might wait until rain comes. Joe, of the opinion you shouldn't. BR4 with a switchback. Oh, that's a nice move there by BR4. The switchback to take back first position of Joe. Might have gone a little bit deep. But loser this shot into first. He's still going to hold on, but it's going to open the door for Ishmael to close that gap in, and he does to 1.3 seconds now. Behind you, still got Staber, Alu, and Bambino. They're having their own miniature battle. You've got Arca and Bisconnect in 12 and 13, and within a quarter of a second. We're actually going to see that battle, whether or not that's going to hold up through turn into the hairpin. And it doesn't look like Bisconnect is going to be able to do anything here. It's just too far back. Maybe he tried to shoot his shot too early. And we might have another fight between BR4 and Joe here. Joe looked like he'd got a better exit there through turn 1. And he has. Down with DRS. Through turn 2. Up to the hairpin we go. Is Joe going to pull alongside? He isn't. He's learned from the last lap. He's just decided to stay behind this time. And BR4 is going to hold him for just a while longer. Yellow flag in sector 2 and 3 is another spin for the Alfa Romeo, who might be about to get lapped. Heidelberg Day is going the complete opposite. Oh, there's a spin for Staber into the same wall as he did in qualifying. As you see, Alu, Palo, and Bambino both going at it here. There's a little bit of a tap in the back from Bambino onto the back of Alu there. And there was not really much the two of them could do when they were trying to avoid Staber spinning out in front as well. Yellow flag in sector 2 and 3. Rigo's gone this time. Multiple spins on the lap. Heisenberg had one. Staber's had one. Rigo's had one, so that's 3. And Staber, at this point in time, may have just thrown away a very good position. And to add to his moment of madness, 5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane as well. Joe's going to hold off the back of BR4 again. And this time he's just staying in second until he sees probably rain and hoping he can make something happen at that point. Ishmael 1.2 seconds back. He is closing the gap ever so slightly. The more these two in front of him fight, the better it is for him. Staber pits onto the medium tyre as his spin into the wall has definitely given him damage. And we've still got battles going on up and down the grid. We've still got that DRS formed between 4th and 8th, and that doesn't seem to be going away anytime soon. These two now separated by half a second. The BR4 clearly had the better lap. Or he did until the final corner. The exit on Joe's final corner there was exquisite as he goes up into the first corner within 0.3 of a second, maybe. No, he's lost a lot of time. BR4 got that first corner a lot better. Ishmael lost quite a lot of time in third as well. The gap in the DRS train slowly coming down behind from Alu down to Renz as Audacity drops off the back. BR4 and Joe still roughly the same widths apart. BR4's even slightly gaining time at this point. Alu just controlling the DRS train at this point. Bambino not really able to get close enough. Samuel holding about half a second gap. And then Ren's a quarter of the second behind there. Mitchell goes past Jaguar in 30th. As a few people got penalties there when it eventually turns to rain. They might lose out when it comes to their penalties. No one at the top of the grid has penalties though, and Bisconnect might have just lost into turn 3. We're going to actually have a look at this battle here. Down the hill they come, and it looked like Arco with the long way round on the Aston Martin. These two going at it for quite a way. Being quite a good battle as well. The long way round goes to Williams this time. And maybe the Williams with the inside line is going to hold it. He is. He's going to have it. And Bambino into the hairpin. And Alu just with the inside line and may be able to fight back. Has DRS as well. Has probably slightly better tyres. And down into the sweeping right they go. At least nobody George Russelled each other this time. And it looks like Bambino has actually got that position up to 4th he goes. Maybe those mediums are starting to fall off. Could be possible. Ishmael's lost like 0.6 of a second on the front two as well in this little battle that we've been watching. It's 0.4 of a second now between Joe and BR4. That gap's come down another 0.2. Almost as if Joe is... Wait! Joe spun! Joe spun! On the final corner, I assume that's too much of the outside curb. And that might hand BR4 this race. Oh, and there goes the Ferrari as well! And 2 people at the front of the grid, bowling within a minute of each other. Into the final corner and then into turn 1. Alu, untouched. Just too much throttle. And spins himself into a wall, and it's not been a Ferrari day at all. Alu's got damaged. Joe broke his front wing as well. And now it's a 3-man train sitting for 3rd in this race. But at the moment, you've got BR4 set first, 2 seconds ahead of Ishmael, who is also 3 seconds ahead of this little train we've got on the screen right now. And those two seem to be very comfortable. Staber passing Mitchell into turn 1. We're actually going to see a little bit more of this battle, as it looked like Staber's able to drop him. And Bisconnect going in with a battle on Arcra again is just not working that time. Maybe a little bit of maybe something happening into turn 1 at the front of the grid. A little bit of a voice break there. Down into the hairpin. Maybe something for Samuel here. Down the inside he goes. He's got 1 wheel. He's still on the inside. Bambino might have a better exit. Got to open the door here for Renz as well. A little bit of a slide there for Samuel. And if the door wasn't open for Renz, it is now. Maybe to the inside. Maybe because Samuel's just going to cover that off quite early on. And they're going to hold position as it is. It's 2.6 seconds now. BL4 opening the gap by 0.4 of a second. And after his win in Silverstone, maybe looking to add to it, maybe looking to stamp a championship claim at this point. We've still got people in DRS range down the grid. Bisconnect on Arca in 10th and 11th. After their position, they gained a position because Alu had a moment. Joe in 7th after his pit. Well, he actually hadn't pit yet. And he's just going to stick with the front wing damage. Let's have a look at see how damaged that front wing actually is. It's only 15, so it looks like it's about lime green. Here he goes, Samuel into the hairpin. And he gets it done nicely. It looks like Arca has had a little bit of an incident in sector 3. And it looks like Bambino was trying to do a switch back, and a little bit of maybe a little bit of contact there. A little bit of a tap prevented him from doing so. Bambino, a 10th down into the sweeping right-hander, doesn't go for the move, maybe at the mercy of Renz at some point in the future. But it's 3.7 seconds, the gap between Samuel and Ishmael, as that seemingly just not going very well. And Renz maybe able to do something, but being 3rd in a DRS train is never the nicest thing. We've got Arca in the pits now after he damaged his front wing. Obviously enough that he had to just straight up change it. Couldn't hang on for long enough just till the rain comes. As well, we're still expecting rain maybe in the next 10 to 15 minutes. I know I'm sounding like Mark at this point. Here we go, Red down the inside. He goes deep into the corner. Maybe a switchback option. He also got way too much throttle and into the side of Bambino there as well. Way too much throttle on the exits. The little touch has managed to hold its position as well. So I guess you can say the move into the hairpin worked. I'm not sure how effective it would have or should have been, but it worked nonetheless. And it looked like he's cleared a little bit of a gap here to Bambino, as we got Staber, Bisconnect and Mitchell going at each other here. Stable with the tires, fresher tires, obviously had something to say about it. Mitchell trying the inside line here on Bisconnect. He's backed off it though. Couldn't get close enough. And didn't want to cause a crash. So, the first three is looking very different to what we had at the start of the race. BR4, Ishmael, and Samuel 1, 2, 3. Not the case for what the grid we had at the start. We still got DRS in use here, and Renz is looking to close Samuel down with it, but by the looks of it, not this time, and it doesn't look like into turn one for Mitchell either, as he's got Alu on far fresher tyres, and maybe the team game's going to be played here. As Mitchell is going to have a shot here at the Aston Martin down, he looks for a double move, he gets down the inside, and Bisconnect clearly wasn't able to see it coming. It's going to open the door for Alu as well, as Alu's going to get the DRS, maybe a double overtake in the look for the Ferrari here. And Mitchell going to stay to the outside to ensure it happens. And he's going to now hold off Bisconnect to 13th place. He's going to do that quite nicely as they go into the end of the second sector. There's decent fights up and down the grid at the moment. I mean, we had the train for the bottom of the podium. We also had a train here. It looked like Audacity and Joe's having a fight. Joe with the DRS able to make it work pretty early on. Not like anyone else has had any incidents since the one for Arca that sits him bottom of the pile at the moment. Ren's not able to get close enough to Samuel to make something work. They're going to go into the end of the second sector now, 3 seconds off the back of Ishmael, who is 2.7 seconds off the back of BR4, and here comes the rain! We saw that we finally see sort of the spit in the spots coming down on the screen, and we all know what that means. Well, if they're hurted, they're gonna get the reprieve, because it's gonna be a couple of laps and then on to the intermediates. We're on lap 20 of 36. Samuel on those hards is closing Ishmael down rapidly at this point. Gained about 8 tenths in the last lap alone. Ishmael only losing 2 tenths to BR4, so BR4's also lost that time. And we are at that point where the rain is expected to come down. And Staber's out! Staber's out, and there goes the safety car! Oh my god! And that is perfectly timed for a numerous amount of people here, I think. And the Aston Martin's the first one to gamble onto those intermediates. And I assume the other two are going to follow him. And I assume everyone should follow those as well. Don't forget the pit lane line. The safety car from Staber coming at literally the nicest possible time if you're a medium runner. If you're a hard runner, you probably would have wanted that to not happen. But that has definitely swung everything in medium runner's favour. Joe's going to be able to get his front wing changed here under a safety car as well, which is going to help him massively. Well, yep, you can see the spray, so you wouldn't have even got one more lap. Realistically, before the rain. Yep, it is intermediate tyres now. That rain's come down that's come down quite quickly, actually. I did not expect that to go that wet that quick. But it has. I was waiting on someone making a "that's what she said" joke out of that. So everyone's pitted onto the intermediate tyres. If you pit originally, you're in a lot of luck here. You got a lap before. It looked like Bisconnect just jumped a number of people all the way up ahead of Rigo up to 9th. At this rate, we might have full wet by the end of the safety. You might be right. We are actually going to have a storm by the end of this race. So it is entirely possible there is still a pit stop to come. I would assume if it is going to storm, the full wets would probably be needed. A couple of people went into AI mode there for a minute. Joe and Rigo had their front wings changed. As Rigo had he broke his front wing. I'm not sure how he broke his front wing. We've had 2 DNFs, one from Sven, one from Staber. Also, I'm not entirely sure it was a good idea putting Sven in tier 1. Doesn't look like he's handled it too well at the moment. Couple of people here getting saved badly by that intermediate, well, the safety car coming out when it did. The real question is, how long are we getting intermediates for? Because according to my telemetry, this rain's only going to get us stronger and stronger as we go along. So it is entirely possible that it's just a straight onto the wets. Or it might be coming in a couple of laps' time. And, oh, well, BL4 just touched some grass. Through the sweeping right-hander as he's trying to warm up those tyres and, well, seemingly can't keep control of that car. Safety car is obviously not coming in this lap because the people at the back of the grid still waiting to join the back of us. It's starting to look like closing in on wet kind of weather, almost anyway. Swen's dead. So 4/10 of a second here. We're going one more lap, obviously. Whether or not the Alpha and Romeo is going to be able to join the back of us. Sven DNF'd earlier. Staber basically just swung the entire race on its head with his DNF. Two laps to go. As for the front two, that remains unchanged, but Renz is up to 3rd now. Bambino up to 4th. Samuel dropped a couple of places into 5th. Audacity to 6th. Joe 7th after his spin from 2nd. And that's been the bane of Joe's existence. It's his Achilles heel this season. The amount of mistakes is effectively stopping him from winning a title. Here comes the safety car's coming in this lap. That's a very early call. That's not the end of the 3rd sector. That's not usually when that gets called. But either way, Heidenberg should be able to join the back of this group, as his teammate has control of when we go. The real question is, when are we going? It looked like BL4 might have gone now. And, oh, he's almost lost the car immediately. Oh, he's going to play that one off at all. It's fine. I'll just throw it back down as a safety car restart. He should do later on, but he almost spun that immediately. Rigo has spun it immediately. Didn't even get over the line. And he's out of the race. We're down 3. We're down to 15. Yellow flag in sector 3. The Mercedes is out of this. The only Mercedes on track, so there's nothing happening here. What's happening under the safety car restart besides that spin? It doesn't look like there's an awful lot. Ren's dropping out the 2nd mark of Ishmael already, even though the 2nd mark is just now an arbitrary number, considering DRS is well and truly not going to be a thing for the rest of this race. If anything, it's going to get wetter, not drier. It looks like Renz is being closed in by Bambino there. Yarlo looking to make something work on Joe, maybe not able to do it. Are we going to get another spin through the third sector? It looks like everyone's able to keep their car intact for once. Ishmael, 8/10 of a second back. Renz closing in on the back of the Red Bull. And you've got Bambino there on the closing in on the back of the Aston Martin as well. And it looks like we might have a four-way fight before the end of this. On lap 25 of 36. Arca gets 3 seconds for track limits, and that's not really going to suit him at the moment, considering everyone is bunched back up. He's going to go to the back of the grid. It looks like Ishmael 1.2 seconds down on BR4 now, as BR4 seemingly just driving away, may be able to just hold this one in his own control till the end of the race. This point in time, it's never really been in doubt. Everyone about that second gap away. What's happening here between the Aston Martin and Mitchell? Maybe Mitchell with a better exit through the end of Sector 2 is going to make that move work. He had looked like he had just a burst of pace compared to the Aston Martin. Into the end of Sector 2, moves him up to 9th. Down the grid, it doesn't look like we'll have anyone else yet. It doesn't look like we've had any other casualties in this race yet either. Jaguar and Bisconnect going at it as well. Well, if that starts to come down, we'll go on to that battle, as Bisconnect seems to be struggling here in the wet against other people. Maybe opening the door for some people to add to their championship points tally. The front four seemingly separated by more than enough to stay where they are. And the rest of the grid at the is just separated by less than a second, so we might see some overtakes happening as we move into the second sector. Maybe the third sector as well. Renz is getting closed in on by Bambino here as well. Have we had any more damage? We haven't had any more mistakes by the looks of it since Rigo's DNF. Bambino lost a little bit of time through the end of the second sector and gained it all back at the beginning of the third. And we've got a few guys within that 4/10 of a second mark. Audacity and Joe are about to go at it. But Ishmael not really closing in on BR4 for the lead of the race. Everything seemingly sticking as it is since the safety car restart, where we lost Rigo and realistically nothing else happened. Joe, 4/10 of a second back, is going to get a good shot here at Audacity, maybe into the middle of the second sector, but not if he's going to dive like that a little bit deep into the hairpin. And it's probably screwed up his exit, and yeah, it stopped him from having a good shot there at the Williams. It looks like Arca and Heidenberg, as we're going to watch these two go at it. Arca on the outside and then switching to the inside, maybe on the inside of the Alfa Romeo. The Alfa Romeo looking all out of sorts, and the Williams going the long way round, and they've collided there, going through the final part of Sector 2, and it looks like an attempt at a switchback for the Williams. He's going for multiple attempts at switchbacks, they're just not working. Heidelberg closing that door off quite quickly, and able to do it quite nicely. Renz 6/10 of a second now between him and Ishmael for the second in the race. Ishmael is losing time on BR4, and we've got a few people here fighting as we go further back in the grid from about 6 backwards. And it's looked like Joe's the closest person on the grid at the moment. Maybe, just maybe, he has a shot this time at Audacity. He's going to pull himself alongside, and he's down the inside. Audacity looks for a switchback immediately. It looked like he'd got a far better exit and he got it to work. And that, for the second time today, Joe has been switched back by the person he's been attempting to overtake. Maybe it's just going a bit too deep. Maybe he's being overzealous, but he's been left himself open to that switchback opportunity all day. And it seemingly is coming back to bite him now. Yarlow's closing in. Mitchell's closing in on Yarlow as well. And it looks like Joe and Audacity better get a move on, or the guys behind them might end up swallowing them up. Yellow flag in sector 3. And Arca's in a wall. And it doesn't look like his race is going to be too much, well, done too well from this point onwards. I only assume he got damage. It doesn't look like he had, actually. Might have got away with that. He has got away with that. Let's see if we've got any overtakes brewing in the down into the middle of the second sector, the long sweeping right-hander. Any overtakes brewing? It doesn't look like there's one there for Joe, and Audacity just holds off for long enough. Jaguar's tagged himself onto the back of this line as well now. As doesn't look like there's been an awful lot of gap broken by anybody so far. Maybe the biggest gap on the entire grid outside of Arca's spin is sat there between Jaguar and Bisconet. Well, apart from that, it's probably the fight for the lead. Seemingly a bunch of people there opening up a second or more gaps. And you've got Arca against 3 seconds, and honestly this game's bullied him enough at this point. Joe closing in at a bit of a more frantic pace now to Audacity, whereas he wasn't before. Maybe Joe's starting to rush a few things. As he goes through to sector 3, Arca is spun again, and Joe down the inside this time, and there's no switchback happening on this occasion, and Joe has finally got past Audacity. Up into 6 he goes. It took him a while, but he's finally got that move done. Maybe too wide this time. Yarlow and Mitchell. Mitchell on the inside line, not able to make it stick. And Yarlow has held himself pretty nicely in this race. Half a second splits him and Audacity though, as Joe is now left. Yellow flag. Safety car. For what? What has just happened? Is it for Arca? But that would be an incredibly late call. What? Anyone else got an explanation? Because nothing happened. Unless that was meant to come out when Arca span maybe 40 or 50 seconds before. That is an incredibly late safety car if that's the case. What the fuck? Oh! Heidelberg's taken out some polystyrene. He's had a collision with Donny apparently. Something's happened there as well. I'm not entirely sure what. Some people going onto the wets. Maybe that's the call. Maybe it's not. I'm not entirely sure if it is. I'm also not entirely sure what the fuck's just happened. And, well then, round 4, the tale of the phantom safety car. I might just I might go back and rename Tier 1 streams after this and just go look back through the races and just name them off of what happens. Arca's retired from the session. That looked like he's had a bit of a problem through the hairpin, that one actually, and that looked like, you see, maybe a safety car called there might have been nice, or warranted, or any of the sort, but the one that's called has absolutely baffled me. It might have allowed for, so it's going to allow for some people to get back into this. And if you're BR4, you're screwing with the fact that they don't have a safety car. He had more than enough of an advantage to Ishmael to call it quits. And it's brought you right back, and now your mistakes are going to be punished. And if by BR4 doesn't end up winning this race, it's probably entirely because of a phantom safety car, which would be entirely impressive. Safety car should be coming in next lap, because I don't think Heisenberg's getting on the back by the time that shifts in. Nope, there goes the pit entry line. So Heisenberg's not on the back. We go one more. So we will go racing again on lap 34 of 36. It doesn't look like it's wet enough for wets, but that might be just completely wrong. It also doesn't look like we've got the storm that was forecasted, so it looked like it stayed with the light rain. And at the end of this safety car, 34, 35, 36 is all that we've got left for this race. And, oh, Bambino tried to get a hold of his tyres. Decided he wanted to trip into the grass at the same time. Almost had a catastrophic mistake there. Obviously, safety car in this lap, and Austria just had a very, very bugged time to call in the safety car, apparently. So, we're going... the guy at the back had an interesting change of what tyres we should have been on. Mitchell went to wets, Heidelberg stayed on the intermediates. I probably would have done the same as Heisenberg, but we'll see how that pays off later on. We'll get to see where BR4 goes. On the last safety car restart, he almost bottled everything he had. And this time, into turn 9, down into turn 10. Yellow flag in sector 3 is Alu in the grass. Alu spun before we even get the safety car restart underway. And it looked like BR4's caught the Red Bull sleeping. He has. And he's at the mercy of that mastermind behind. Maybe he makes a move. Maybe Ishmael's going to hold on. Ishmael's going to hold on for a slight bit longer. Doesn't look like anyone's going to make a mistake into turn 1. Audacity gets past Joe as a return fire for earlier on. Ren's trying the outside of Ishmael, maybe to the inside now on that Red Bull. He looked like he'd got a better exit there. But it looked like that Red Bull had been able to hold that position. And it also looked like Audacity and Joe went back and forth for a little while there. And they're going to go back and forth again through the sweeping right-hander. Joe maybe a little bit pushed, a little bit squeezed. And on to 7th, down into 7th he goes. Maybe they'll go the long way around now. He just backs off a little bit. Maybe Yarlo made a mistake as well. Mitchell up to 10th already on the safety car restart. Those wets might be helping him, actually. And Yarlo on the back of Joe may be able to do something here. Joe had his mistake earlier. Could have been fighting for a lead. But we said that in multiple tracks yet so far this season. They only really had one good one. The fight for the lead on lap 35 is at 7/10 of a second. We've got fights everywhere down the grid, of course, because of the safety car restart. Audacity lost back off the back to Samuel. So I think we're starting to see 2 different groups form, maybe 3 different groups form, with Mitchell being so far back off the back of Jaguar. It looks like Samuel dropped off the back of Bambino as well. We've still got people attempting to make something happen here. But it doesn't look like anything is going to happen. And it looks like Jaguar's now going to try and open the door here on Yalo. Maybe something can happen here. Everyone's seemingly closing in, and oh, Joe's had a mistake again. This time, only a smaller mistake. It's only enough to lose 2 positions, maybe 3 if Mitchell hurries up. But it's one that's going to cost him another set of points. And I don't think he's going to be able to recover any of those 2 positions either. So he's lost another 3 or 4 points in the bank there. He's losing more and more ground on the guys in front. It looks like Bambino closing in on Renz, who's lost the gap entirely there to Ishmael. But they go through into the middle of the second sector for the final time. And 4 tenths of a second splitting the 2 here, 7 tenths of a second splitting the 2 up front. Down into the end of sector 2. Maybe BR4 makes a mistake. Maybe he gets this one to the end. Is he going to be able to carry this one through? He's got 1 more sector. He's got 2 more corners to get to the line. He's coming down to turn 9 now. And without a mistake, it's surely BR4's day. It's been wet, but not wet enough to stop BR4. Who's going to be enjoying himself in the wet in Austria? Over the line he goes. For the win, his 2nd win of the season. And a real stamp of authority there on the championship fight. Ishmael's going to take home 2nd. Renz is on the podium for the first time here at ALR. Bambino's going to have to settle for 4th. Samuel's going to have to settle for 5th. After the last stint didn't really help him out an awful lot. Audacity's going to take 6th after a fight with Joe, which then followed by Joe's mistakes repeatedly throughout this race. Yalo in 7th, Jaguar in 8th. Joe comes 9th eventually. Heisenberg's going to take 10th in the end. Mitchell in 11th. The wets didn't really pay off. Donny in 12th. Biscadet's going to take 13th. Alu spinning and continuously spinning. And over the line reversing. And that is the end of the day. That was thrown into a chaos quite a number of times. And was thrown even more into a chaos when where a phantom safety car almost shuffled the pack again. As for the, let's see if we can get some interviews going. I don't think BR4 is going to mic. But let's have a look anyway. So that is how we end here at Austria. And round 4 goes to BR4. And, well, never really in doubt. He almost screwed it up at the safety car restart. But almost is never enough. He's going to be glad that was only an almost. Otherwise, he would have been, well, probably really annoyed with himself. few of the guys pole there, end in 9th, 2nd, end up winning the race, 3rd comes in 5th. Bit of a scrambled grid at the end. And well then. Doesn't look like people want to do interviews, so I'm going to end the stream pretty much now. But I will end by saying don't forget to check out Iniba and Driver61, and don't forget to check out, more importantly, Sunday streams tier 2 or tier 4 on the same track. And then this time next Thursday, as you see, tier 1, commentated by yours truly. Go around for round number 5. We see the championship fight hot up even more. But till then, peace.